Imagine a typical classroom. What do you think of? A teacher in front of the room? Students sitting at desks working on the same assignment? Well, not me. When I picture a classroom, I think of something different. I imagine a room with students sitting both at tables and on the floor. I imagine a student doing math next to another labeling a map. I imagine a Montessori classroom. Why is this? I attended Montessori Community School for 11 years, from 3 years old through 8th grade. In all those years, the only classroom environment and teaching methods I knew were Montessori.
Okay, but what is Montessori?
Well, here are the basics. In 1907, Dr. Maria Montessori started her school for 4 to 7-year-old children in a housing project in Rome. She developed her classroom environment and teaching methods based on her knowledge of child psychology. Since then, her ideas have spread to many other countries, and today there are over 5,000 Montessori schools in the U.S.
Alright, but what makes a Montessori classroom different?
Classrooms include multiple grades. Primary classrooms have preschool, pre-K, and kindergarten students. Lower elementary classrooms have 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade students. Upper elementary classrooms have 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students, and adolescent programs have 7th and 8th grade students. Multi-grade classrooms allow for a unique learning environment. In explaining the advantages of Montessori education on his school's blog, Jeff Gross states that multi-grade classrooms allow older students to be leaders and mentors and allows younger students to learn from working with older classmates. In 8th grade, I asked one of my teachers for a lesson on the square root pegboard. I had seen some of the older students working with it and was curious about how the material worked and the concept behind it. Rather than teaching me himself, my teacher asked one of the older students to show me. This gave me a different view on the concept and allowed the other student to reinforce his own understanding. Multi-grade classrooms works for Montessori education because all students are allowed to work at their own pace. This allows students who are in the same grade to be in different places in each subject but still have other students to collaborate with.
But how can you have students learning different things all in one classroom?
Montessori classrooms are filled with materials to help students gain deeper understandings of the concepts presented to them. This allows students to practice what they've been taught on their own without a teacher's presence. Some materials you will see in multiple classroom levels. For example, the trinomial cube, which represents the equation x plus y plus z cubed, is found from primary to upper elementary school classrooms, but is used differently in each. In a primary classrooms, students take the cube apart and put it back together matching the colors. In the lower and upper elementary school classrooms, the cube is used to introduce cubing and trinomial problems. Being around these materials for many years allows students to be acquainted with the object before they fully understand the idea it represents. Having a physical example of subjects that are often taught in an abstract way helps students to gain a more concrete understanding. For me, being around these materials made understanding more difficult math in high school easier, despite no longer being around the materials. Students get to spend time working independently and receiving new lessons during a 3-hour work period that takes place each morning in a Montessori classroom. In her blog, Cynthia Dyer, a Montessori parent, teacher, and administrator, discusses how Dr. Maria Montessori developed her classroom based on the belief that curiosity should guide a child's work. She states that children learn remarkably faster in a Montessori classroom because they are encouraged and not forced to do their work. In my time at Montessori Community School, I experienced this to be true. Because I was never forced, I wanted to learn, and because I wanted to learn, I worked harder. The Montessori classroom environment allowed me to become a self-motivated worker and to gain time management skills from a young age. Because I learned these skills on my own, I developed a good work ethic without much prompting from teachers or my parents. When I attended a traditional high school, I struggled with time management and self-motivation. Not being able to pick when to work on each subject made me less productive. In the Montessori environment, I was always working on what I wanted, so I was willing to push myself. The time management skills and self-motivation I had developed in the Montessori environment have helped me to get my work done outside of the classroom, both in high school and college.
What are the benefits of Montessori education?
Results of a questionnaire show that students at a Montessori school have a stronger sense of community than those in traditional schools. The study claims that the Montessori environment allows students to develop equal or superior social skills to those developed in traditional school environments. The Montessori school I attended prides itself in the sense of community felt by the students, teachers, and families. I saw parts of the Montessori environment being beneficial in encouraging a sense of community. Teachers are called by their first names, which creates a sense of equality with the students. And they play the role of guides in the classroom by helping focus the students' work rather than directing or instructing them. This sense of community was beneficial to me because I was able to focus on learning and never felt judged.
Well, does it work? It all sounds nice, but does a Montessori school actually prepare students for the real world?
Well, I believe the Montessori environment mimics the real world better than a traditional school does. A multi-grade classroom where students engage in independent work mirrors a workplace with people of various ages doing separate tasks. Montessori education also focuses on learning and understanding rather than memorization and regurgitation, which is how the real world works. Some notable Montessori alumni include the founders of Google, the founder and CEO of Amazon, and the founder of Wikipedia.
But what about you? How has Montessori prepared you for the real world? What impact has it had on your future?
Experiencing the difference between Montessori and traditional education sparked my interest in becoming a teacher. Seeing how traditional school classes aren't designed based on how children naturally learn confused and annoyed me. In his explanation of in-groups, Alport explains that as a member of a group, a person develops certain character codes and beliefs, standards, and enemies. I think that my aversion towards traditional education is because I am a Montessori student. I also believe that it is why I want to be a teacher and help other students experience the Montessori environment.